We're the Homeyards, and this is our IVF 101 video.
So why we wanted to do a IVF 101 video is because we are constantly being asked, what is IVF? So we wanted to explain to you guys in our own words what IVF is and what the process looks like.
So IVF stands for in vitro fertilization, which also means in-glass fertilization. Basically, the whole process is to fertilize the egg in a lab.
Okay, so first thing to explain is the uterus. The uterus is the female body parts, the insides where all the action will be happening. So this here is the uterus where the baby will implant itself and grow. These things here are the fallopian tubes, and ours, well mine, are blocked, and that is why the eggs from the ovaries aren't traveling down the fallopian tube to the uterus to meet the sperm. So both of mine are blocked, and that is why the eggs aren't traveling.
So the first step of IVF would be the preparation and ovarian stimulation phase. And basically, that would just be Rachel taking oral medications and some injections to help multiple eggs develop in the ovaries.
These eggs. The next part of IVF is the egg retrieval. So what will happen is they will remove the eggs through the vagina and remove the eggs that way. So once the eggs are retrieved, they will be fertilized in the lab by Colin's sperm sample.
So once the eggs are fertilized, they will be incubated for 2 to 5 days, and the best ones will be kept to be for implantation or to be frozen for the future.
Some people will choose to do a fresh embryo transfer, meaning once the embryos have been incubated, they will place the fresh embryo inside the uterus for implantation. Others may choose to freeze the embryo and do implantation for a later date. Which brings us to the next step, the big one, embryo transfer.
So during the transfer, the doctors will take a catheter and place the embryo on the uterine wall, where 2 weeks after that, we will know if the embryo has successfully attached itself to that wall.
Meaning we will know if we are pregnant. So now we wanted to share with you guys some acronyms and some abbreviations that a lot of people in the fertility community use and that we may be using in some of our videos and IVF updates. The first one is TTC, which means trying to conceive. So sometimes couples will say we've been TTC for 5 years or TTC for 2 years, meaning they've been trying to conceive for 5 or 2 years.
So another common infertility acronym would be ER, which means egg retrieval. And we talked about that in our previous clips. And it's basically just when the doctor gets the egg using a catheter, retrieving the egg.
The next acronym is BFP, which means big fat positive. So when people say we're hoping for that BFP, means they're hoping for that big fat positive on the pregnancy test or beta test, which tells you if you are pregnant or not.
So the next acronym would be HCG, which stands for Human Chorionic Gonadotropin. And that is basically just the pregnancy hormone. So when you take a pregnancy test, that is the hormone that is detected, tells you whether you're pregnant or not.
So So now we want to update you guys about where we are in our IVF process. Some of you may know I was most recently in Vancouver this weekend to do our consultation as well as a hysteroscopy. During the weekend, we discovered that we had a couple little extra steps that we had to do before we can begin treatment.
So the first bump that we ran into was about our Dominican trip coming up in a couple weeks. And the problem is that there's risk of us contracting Zika virus, which stays in a man's body for up to 6 months and in a woman's body up to 2 months. And we don't want to wait that long to start our IVF treatment. So right before our trip, I'm going to Vancouver and I'm going to freeze my sperm so that we have healthy sperm for our treatment.
The second little hiccup was the results of my hysteroscopy. Now, if you don't know what a hysteroscopy is, it is basically a test where they insert a scope into my uterus to see the condition of the uterus. So basically what they found was that I had a bunch of polyps, which I think the best way to describe a polyp is basically it made my uterus very bumpy so that an embryo would not be able to implant itself inside the uterus. So the next step that we have to do is to basically smooth out the uterus with a procedure called a DNC, which is a day surgery, which we are in the process of trying to book, as our OB here in Grand Prairie is a very long wait list. So we are looking at getting that done in Vancouver also. So in the meantime, I will be taking birth control pills to help prevent my lining from creating any more polyps, as well as I am taking a prenatal vitamin as prescribed by my fertility doctor. These are the PregVit Folic 5, and they come with an AM pill and an evening pill. And I think the AM pill is high in iron and the evening pill is higher in folic acids. So far I've taken 2 days and I haven't really had any side effects from either of them, and so far they're very mild.
So that's pretty much where we are right now. We'll keep you guys updated on our next steps, I guess. Thanks for watching and thanks for keeping up with us.
Yes, and feel free to leave any comments if you guys have any questions or any likes, and if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Night, guys.
Night.